Well, I mean, it's down to the point. Yeah, because she thought it was somebody's mom. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. Hell no, I'm staying away from that now. Yeah, it's really. Hi. Where's your ass? Oh, is that?
Just discovered an alphabet wall.
So greedy. He likes to show off. Yeah. You're right. Like two stands. Which corner of the walking? You don't know?
Sorry. Who? William.
So for as long as we've played this, it's never
Yeah. I mean,
anything.
I mean, this guy now, Steve. I think you're pointing to somebody else. Somebody who used to play in this group. That's what everybody's saying.
No. Okay. It's a party. It's a party with Jennifer. Yeah.
I understand they're having a reunion with that band.
That one already did.
Prosthetic implant.
Shabbat Shalom. We're thrilled to have the band with us this Shabbat. We appreciate all of you and all of your instrumentation, and we're thrilled to have all of you here with us. We turn this evening to page 13 in our prayer books, and we begin, well, we've already begun, but we begin in the prayer book on page 13 with Yismechu HaShamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. 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 Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay, Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay. Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar. Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay, Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay. Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar, Az yironenu kol atzeyar. Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay, Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo, Ya'alo sadai, ay 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 ay. Remember Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu.
Page 17.
Remember Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu remember. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu remember. kadosh Adonai Eloheinu remember. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu remember. Adonai Eloheinu remember.
Back now to page 10 and join together in Hine Matov at the top of the page. And as we good? That was kind of a cool effect. As we do that, take a good look around the room and look at the beauty and joy of what it really means to come together and celebrate Shabbat. We've got all of these wonderful people here. The lights are coming through in the stained glass in beautiful ways. Truly, Hine Matov, how wonderful it is, how good it is. So take a moment, greet each other, wave, say Shabbat Shalom. In this one, follow Noah's lead and get up and dance.
Yeah,
Noah's been dancing the whole
Noah.
time. Follow Noah's lead on this one and dance along with him. Sam, show him how it's done.
הנה מה טוב, טוב ומעניים, שבת אחים גם יחד, גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, טוב ומעניים, שבת אחים גם יחד, גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומעניים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומעניים, שבת אחים גם יחד, גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומעניים, שבת אחים גם יחד, גם יחד.
Now in our prayer books to page 20 and 21 as we join together for Lecha Dodi, welcoming the Sabbath bride. As we do so, when we reach... Is that when you or me?
Making sure we're alive here.
As we reach the final verse, we'll invite everyone to rise in body or spirit or sound, depending on which way you to welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 20, please join with us.
Lecha dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלחם כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורק ומאורי אורי אורי שתדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך בגלל לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בלם גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שלום עליכם מלכי שרת מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם מלכי השרת מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם מלכי השרת מלכי העליון מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברוכים לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברוכים לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברוכים לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי העליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא השלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Back to our prayer books now to page 26. We join together in the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ימרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלום עלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתעלה על שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה וימרו.
Amen. We invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we continue on page 28.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברכו את אדוני המבורך. You can follow along with the words for this English creative version of Ma'ariv Aravim, Roll Into Dark. Also, if you are watching at home, you can find the PDF that has those words on it that are in the email sent to you this week. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel lo bifnei choshech. כולל לא בפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. Roll into dark, roll into into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, כולל לא מפני חושך, כולל לא מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבתם. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. One more time together. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We chant together on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 39, we continue at the top together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. נורא תהיה לו אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. נורא תהיה לו אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקעים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי יענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש נורא. תהי אלוהות אוסף לבנה מקיף בדד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני הגר ישראל. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש נורא. תהי אלוהות אוסף אלה.
This past week, we watched as NASA prepared to send another rocket into space. Some issues came up and they stopped it, thankfully, before there was anything tragic that could have happened. But that, combined with what the Webb telescope showed this summer, reminds us that while we are filled with our own lives, we are tiny specks in a giant galaxy. And as we try to reach out and learn more and grow more, the world keeps beckoning. Earth is just a small piece. There is so much more. But throughout all of it is the sense that we humans can do something for good, that we can make the lives of another better somehow, some way. And so we pray, give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapares sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, passion and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Ehamidenu Shomreinu Lechayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechayim. Lechayim. Lechayim.
As we turn the page on to page 46, we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we join together in the evening Amidah.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלקים חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חודים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Silently through page 63, including both the prayers of the prayer book and the prayers of our own hearts. Please be seated at your own pace.
עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב וישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We turn ahead in our prayer books now to page 253, where we'll join together in the Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for healing. As a community and as a congregation, we think especially this Shabbat of Melvin Hackman, Betty Lou Margolis, Alan Snyder, Alex Botkin, Devorah Batfei, Robin Neft, Joey Dawn Gillespie, Tom Evans, Elaine Lesgold, Michael L., Howard G., Stan W., Leslie Colvin, Adam Colvin, Jack Glasser, Ruth Zober, Molly, Chaya Lerner, Holly Helbine, Jonathan Duncan, Ellen Radish. If there are other names to mention, I invite you to say those names as my eyes make their way around the room. We join together in the words of the Mishaberach prayer, praying for all of them, for their caregivers, and their loved ones as well.
Mishem Beirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishem Beirach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, healer of the sick. And now a few moments to share good things, birthdays, anniversaries. Somebody's got to have something good to share and celebrate. Nothing, Philip?
Sure. Why not? It was my anniversary this. Yeah, two good things. One, the microphone is working, and two, it was my anniversary this week.
It was also Jill's anniversary.
It was also Jill's anniversary, far more importantly.
Happy anniversary.
He's a saint.
She is a saint.
Happy anniversary, Philip.
I have a few things to say. One, the way I raise my hand is how I raise my hand in history class, because I always know everything in history class. I don't know why, I just do. I like to study. And so my birthday's on Monday, on Labor Day. And what else? Oh, yes, and also a song that's from the anime I watched. I was able to practice it, and now I can sing it really well.
Nice. How old are you going to be?
I'm going to be 12.
She's going to be older than you.
Everybody's older than I am.
Uh-huh. I'm not touching
Watch
that
it,
one.
Philip.
I'm going to keep walking. Who else has something good to share? Besides talking about Lynn Rubinson's age. Lizzie, you have something good to share? What's up? What's today, Lizzie?
My birthday, but
Today's what?
but I cannot drink milk because my head will hurt.
Today's your birthday?
Yeah, and I can't drink milk.
You can't drink milk?
No, my head will hurt.
Your head will hurt if you drink milk?
Yeah.
That's a new one. How old are you today?
9.
9. Happy birthday. Do you share a birthday with anybody in your family?
No.
Really? Who's your birthday twin?
Uncle John.
That's right, your birthday twin is your uncle.
I forgot.
But he's older than 9.
I forgot to. I forgot. I miss my grandpa.
Yep.
That died ago.
Who else has something good to share? Give it to Zach. Noah, do you have something good to share?
I just signed up for Hebrew school.
You just signed up for Hebrew school? That's great. We're excited to have you. Hebrew school starts on Wednesday, actually this coming week, the 7th.
I'm getting really excited for Hebrew school too.
Good.
I have a friend in a wheelchair, and for a while I've been struggling. We want to get him to dance, and I've been struggling with a way to make that happen, and it did happen.
Nice.
I want to welcome our 2 new members, Myrna and Jack Rosen, who are joining us tonight.
We're thrilled to have you here. Welcome. Who else has something good to share? Mimi does. Uh-oh.
No, this is really good because after 30 days, tomorrow is the last day of Alex's infusion of antibiotics, and the PICC line comes out.
Good.
Yay!
Good, good, good. Who else has something good to share?
Yes, we moved.
Mazel tov. Are you unpacked? I know that feeling. Who else has something good to share?
That it's a pleasure to be back inside and to listen to my wife in the orchestra.
Nice.
I also enjoy listening to my husband play saxophone in the band, and he and I just celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary.
Mazel tov. In the band, we have good things.
I have 2 things. One, I got to play with Noah Aronson last week, and it was amazing. And number 2, I'm a grandma.
Hey!
We had a little girl. Well, my son had a little girl, my son and his wife. Her name is Ada Lucinda.
Very nice. Mazel tov.
Thank you, Rebbe. I have a double good news. My mother-in-law, Leah Rita Scott, just celebrated her 90th birthday.
Wow.
And she's in great shape. And we had a grandchild this week also. Our second grandchild's daughter, Eloise Raven Rafson Hakimi. And everybody's happy and healthy and good.
Mazel tov.
Oh, and Lily, yeah.
Our daughter Lillian, our younger daughter, she was honored with a 40 under 40 honor for her business, Pack Up and Go. So
cool.
We are going this weekend to visit Sarah, who just spent her second week in her new job after graduation in Delaware at a Cloverdale Nature Preserve. So excited to go see her.
We as in all of us?
Yeah, you're all invited to come. We're going to.
Is it a band trip or like all of us?
Whoever could fit in my Subaru, you're welcome to come. Yeah, for the weekend.
How many Jews can you put into a Subaru?
Bob, did you have something? Bob, did you have something?
Did you move too?
Well, it was my birthday a couple of days ago.
Happy
and
birthday.
So for 12 days, I am both older and wiser than Aya.
Who else has something good to share? Online, do we have anybody who's got anything good to share? Oh, we got more over here.
This week, I passed my first year exam for my PhD.
Very nice. That's a big deal. Who else? Back in the corner. I'll get you.
My son is coming in from South Carolina. I haven't seen him in over a year, and I'm going to be going back with him to visit for a week.
Very nice.
So it's exciting.
You want me to go again?
No.
My aunt's coming into town, and I got to switch out of the board class at my school.
Do we dare ask which class was the boring one?
What's it called again?
Visual
communications. Really? Do you like it?
It's hard.
And what did you switch into?
A TA. I'm a TA for my old English teacher.
A TA for your English teacher. Nice. Good. One more back here. Better be good, Mom.
You better be careful. I just signed up for my first senior mixed martial arts class this week.
I'm staying away. I'm staying far away. Do we have anything on Zoom, Cantor?
From George, his daughter donated bone marrow for a cancer patient. And from Susan, her oldest turned 22 on Sunday. And Freya Cat turned 2 yesterday.
Nice. We celebrate with all of you. We have one more? Sure. Nice. Welcome.
Oh, say shalom b'mroma, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Oh, say shalom b'mroma, יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Amen.
Now it's yellow LOI. Go ahead.
Ya la 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 oh say shalom bimroma יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 one more time oh say shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יא na 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 יא na 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 יא na 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 יא na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ve'imru amen.
Shabbat Shalom. It's not often when you can find an example of the exact opposite of a law in Torah that's being followed, particularly by Jews. But there's an example of one command in this week's Torah portion that the Israelis, about 50 years ago now, completely did the exact opposite. So the law in Torah is when you go to war, don't tear down, don't chop down the trees. Now that's an interesting conversation for all sorts of different reasons, and we'll talk about it. Anybody know the example I'm thinking of? Anybody ever heard of Eli Cohen? Chanita, you didn't learn about Eli Cohen? How many of you have been to the Golan? You know who Eli Cohen is. If you go to the Golan, you'll see remnants of Syrian military installations. And around almost every one of them are eucalyptus trees. And eucalyptus trees are not something that you see throughout the rest of the Golan or throughout the rest of Israel at all. But there are these eucalyptus trees planted around all of them. They're there because of one man, a man named Eli Cohen. Cohen was an Israeli. He was brought into the Mossad and taught how to be a spy. He was sent first to Argentina, where he had a new identity created for himself and connected with the Syrian expats living in Argentina, then went back to Syria, was close with the Syrian government, and convinced the Syrians to allow him to go look at their positions in the Golan, which they held prior to the 67 and 73 wars. And he convinced them that they ought to plant eucalyptus trees, because eucalyptus trees have these huge leaves that provide lots of shade. What they didn't know is that he was a spy for Israel, and that he sent word back to Israel, look for the eucalyptus trees, and wherever you see them, drop bombs. And he did that, and it worked. And so when Israel fought in the Golan against Syria, Israel knew where all the targets were. And one after the next, they were able to get them, and Syria was stunned. Cohen himself was hung. His remains, I don't think, have ever been returned to Israel. It's still very much a bone of contention that Israel would like his remains to be returned to the country. And he is considered in modern Israel a real hero because he was willing to sacrifice his life quite literally to help the country. But what he followed was the opposite of a Torah rule. Now, that's itself a fascinating idea. How is it that the Israelis would allow one of their own to do the exact opposite of a commandment in Torah? And at what point can we do that? Is there a point where we can go against every other law in Torah? Which ones are sacrosanct and which ones aren't? In this case, the answer was a fairly simple set of logistical equations. First, pikuach nefesh, saving a life. That by bombing those sites, the Syrians wouldn't be able to bomb Israelis and they could protect their own lives. The second was, if we plant those trees and chop them down, bomb them, burn them down, we'll end the war faster. And so the Israelis said, look, we don't love violating this law, but this will help us end this war. Now, when we get into warfare now, do we still follow those same sorts of rules? And I would suggest if you were to watch what's gone on in Ukraine over the last 6 months, that few, if any, rules are being followed. And the Russians are not particularly an example of, how do I say this, principled warfare. They're quite the opposite. Our tradition says that when you go to war, you have to maintain principles. One of them is this week's Torah portion that says, don't cut down the trees. Another one is, what do you do with those who you capture? Another one is, what do you do with the stuff that you capture? And in each of these successive commandments, we're taught, be principled. Don't go to fight simply to fight. Don't go to fight just because you want a land grab. Go to fight because there's a reason. And maintain your principles through the war and get out as quickly as you can. And what Eli Cohen did was to help all of that along as best he could. And so today, if you go to Israel, if you go to any bookstore, you'll see a little thin volume. The English version is a red copy that says Our Man in Damascus. It's the story of Eli Cohen. It's a short read, but it's a wonderful read. What Eli Cohen showed was that while Torah verses are essential to who we are as Jews, the principles by which we live are just as essential. And we need to figure out a way to live principled lives even while maintaining the sanctity of Torah. And so we're in the month of Elul now. Rosh Hashanah is coming. Yom Kippur is coming. It's time to consider what are our principles. What are the ideals that we hold sacred? What are our values that are most important to us? And how do we live by them? And at what point are we willing to push this one to achieve that one? And how have we done that in our own lives this last year? And if we have done that, how are we going to pull ourselves back from the brink? This is the time to have that thought conversation. This is the time to consider, what are we doing to make sure that our principles prevail? So, when you go to Israel, if you come with me next time, remind me. If you go on your own next time, remind me and I'll help you find it. There are eucalyptus plants. There aren't koala bears there to eat them, unfortunately. But there are these eucalyptus plants that remind us of how powerful principles can be and how much our sacrifices need to be thought through and how we respond to the threats in front of us and how we use our Torah to guide us. And those eucalyptus plants stand as a reminder to let our principles prevail even in dark times, even when we have to fight. Shabbat Shalom. Lots of announcements, lots of things going on at the temple. Tomorrow morning we have Torah study at 8:30 and services at 9:15. Monday the office is closed for Labor Day. This coming week we have Mackie Anton who will be zooming in and doing the first in what will be one of our author series over the course of the year. Some of the authors will be zooming in, some will be here in person. She's going to be zooming in. On Thursday, there's a group that's going to East End Cooperative Ministry to make dinner. Frank, are you Thursday at 5 or 5:30? 5:30. Who do you sign up with? Sign up with Bob Kraut. Bob, you're in charge? Oh yeah, that's okay. Our thanks to the members of the band. We're thrilled to have you all here this evening. This is the only synagogue band held, the only band anywhere that has a rabbi playing an Irish drum. And we are thrilled to have all of you here. Thanks to our interpreter who is here this evening, who has been doing all sorts of fun little signs along the side. If you've seen me laughing, it's because she's been, how do I phrase this one? She's been teaching me interesting signs, let's put it that way.
You've been asked to be taught interesting signs.
She's a wonderful teacher. We resume with our service. We turn back to our prayer books to page 282. We rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו הוא אחד.
Please be seated. We come to the time in our service when we recall those who came before us, those who came together to create this congregation and this community, those who gave us life and those with whom we shared life. As a community, we recall those whose yahrzeit occurs in the coming days: Janet Bass, Esther Bernstein, Walter Boninger, Gerald Brostoff, Beverly Davidson, Robert Diamondstone, Ethel Eisner, Morris Flitz, Alan Gerson, Jerome G. Greenspan, Sanford Hafner, Ann Jablonski, Dorothy Jacobson, Riza Katz, Jack Kellman, Minnie Krugel, Hyman Kushkin, Helen Lear, William Lewinter, Edwin Leonard Licht, Lloyd Livestone, Helen Michael, Ann Kit Minden, Paul Mulfelder, Louis Olitsky, Bertha Reck, Bessie Rosen, Steffi Goldman Rulin, Libby Rive, Martin Sapper, Isidore Schwartz, Eli Spokane, Daniel Timoleus, Louis Walker, Minnie Soloff Whites. And to those names, we add the names of those taken from us only in recent weeks: Ron Burkhardt, Vera Nunez de Ripoll, Leon Heller, Claire Berlin Levine, and Nelson Colvin. We rise as a whole community to join together in the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'richu le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Hoseh shalom b'mromav Huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May God grant comfort to all of us who are bereaved, and together we say, amen. We conclude this evening with two things. First, Zach, you got a shofar ready back there? We are in the month of Elul, and so we sound the shofar, and Jake, you've got one too, and we got a trumpet up here who can do the same thing, I think. Saxophone? Tekiah! Saxophone, you want to do that too? We conclude with Eila Chamdalibi, followed by Kiddush and Motzi.
Eile Chamdalibi, 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 Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Eile Chamdalibi, 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 Chusana ve'ana, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem, Chusana ve'ana titalem. Eile Chamdalibi, Eile Chamdalibi.
We join together for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.